Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about fragrances that I feel like are underrated. So they're not talked about very often. They are all excellent fragrances. Sometimes they're not talked about because they're older fragrances and people have moved on. Some of these are actually discontinued, but I think that they're worth a mention because they're just fantastic fragrances and they are still available. So I want to bring them to your attention. Some of them are like readily available, but I just never hear anybody talk about them. So I wanted to share with you 7 of those fragrances. But before I do, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button. Join the Weird Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community. And let's get into this. We always hear about Girl of Now. Everybody has talked about that one. It always has been hyped up. It's the pistachio almond orange blossom combo. Everyone loves it. Smells like warm nuts. Who doesn't like a warm nut? Like everybody loves warm nuts. Anyway, sweet, syrupy, delicious. People rarely talk about the flanker Shine. So Girl of Now Shine, it's the same, like you get that delicious kind of pistachio, almond, orange blossom, syrupy, warm nut feel. So it's super cozy, but this one has that added note of pineapple. So it smells to me like a pineapple, kind of spiced pineapple upside down cake. But it's not as cakey. So, or like a pineapple, some sort of pineapple compote or chutney with some pistachio and almond. It smells so good. And what I like about this one is I find that sometimes nuts, like you need something to balance the baseness of nuts. Nuts are really warm and a little bit heavy. So when you add a bit of an acid in there, it kind of balances things out. So to me, the pineapple works like an acid. So you get that warmth, but then the pineapple just brightens it up and to me makes the whole composition better. So I really enjoy Girl of Now. Fantastic fragrance on its own. But the Shine version is also equally fantastic, if not more fantastic. I love that pineapple note, and I love the fact that this one makes this more wearable in the spring, and you can even get away with it in the summer, although I find it a little bit too much in the summer. Just a gorgeous fragrance, and it's still available even though I think it's been discontinued. So definitely worth a sniff. Another fragrance that I never hear anyone talk about, maybe I'm just not listening, but it's by Dossier. It's one of their originals, and it's Golden Rum and Amber. So this has almond, plum, cadewood, rum, clove, cedarwood, ambroxan, vanilla, tolu balsam, and candied fruits. So this fragrance, I would say it's bordering on masculine. So it's unisex bordering on masculine. The plum in here is fantastic. The smokiness in here is phenomenal. Definitely you get that booziness. I just think it's a gorgeous fragrance. Definitely great for winter, but I literally don't hear people talk about this one. This one kind of reminds me a little bit of Plum and Cognac by Sense of Wood. So it's in that same family. It smells niche-like to me. Smoky, plum, woody, rummy goodness. Love this fragrance, and it's really quite affordable. Now, some people commented to me, Dossier's Canadian site right now is not any good. So you can get this through the States site, but for whatever reason, Dossier will not let Canadians on that site. So you just get rerouted continually. So if you're in the States, and you want a really great fragrance, if you want your significant other to smell really sexy, this one's fantastic. Like I said, bordering on masculine, but I would wear this in a heartbeat. To me, this is unisex, but I can see lots of women finding it a little bit masculine. Just a phenomenal fragrance. Excellent longevity, just excellent. And it's so affordable. So love this one. Another fragrance to me that is so underrated, I believe this one is discontinued too, and I can only find it one place, but I want to mention it because it's such a great fragrance, especially for spring and summer, but really you can wear it all year round, is Issey Miyake's Low Dissy Rose and Rose. So this one is like, there's still that kind of, you know, Issey Miyake has that kind of aquatic feel in their fragrances, aquatic, slightly musky feel. This one is no exception. Now, this doesn't have musk in it, but there is a musky quality, just kind of a little bit airy. It gives it a bit of it just creates space in the fragrance. The key players in this are rose and raspberry. So there's a little bit of osmanthus, there's a bit of pear, but what really stands out is rose and raspberry. And rose and raspberry happen to be my favorite combination. I love rose, raspberry, anything. But this is a light, airy, sweet, candy-esque rose raspberry. It stays very kind of fresh, fantastic for spring and summer. This is a great fragrance for wearing to the office if you want to smell a little bit sweet, but not overpowering. This is just absolutely beautiful. Love the musky component in it. And the longevity on this is about 6 hours, and excellent projection on this too. So it's definitely a fantastic fragrance. I'm really, really, really thankful that I have this. And I haven't smelt anything that I would say smelt like it. So yeah, just that it's just fantastic. Like, it's a fantastic fragrance. So yeah, low dissy, rose and rose, not talked about enough. Another one that really didn't seem to ever get much traction, and I don't understand why, because it's just a fantastic fragrance, Ellis Le Parfum Royal. This fragrance is primarily, again, it's a rose fragrance. This has orange or tangerine in the opening. There's mandarin in the opening, so you get kind of a sweet tart feel. It reminds me, honestly, it gives me a similar vibe to Delina. So it doesn't smell like Delina, but it's in that kind of same tart, rose, jammy feel. The patchouli is quite strong in this. So I think that's where some people struggle with this one. To me, the patchouli comes across as spices. So I get like just kind of a spicy rose. It's really strong, potent, powerful, sexy fragrance, in my opinion. This is the fragrance that a regal warrior queen wears. You know, in those kind of medieval fantasy shows, a woman's got like leather kind of battle regalia on, and she has huge white tigers on either side of her, and she's got this flowing kind of cloak, but it's kind of like it's got fur on it, and it's leather too, but it's a whitish colored leather, and she's got her hair all braided, and it's long, but lots of braids and intricate whatever's in her hair. And she just goes whoosh like this, and her tigers just go out and do battle for her, and all her minions do her battles for her. Oh, it's a movie in my head, but it's so whack job. This fragrance is a lot more powerful to me. It's not a feminine, demure fragrance. It's definitely feminine. But this one is more powerful. It's more like in your face and intense. Yeah, I always think of some sort of battle queen when I smell this fragrance. It's so good. If you've smelt it, weigh in. I don't hear people talk about this one. I don't know if people find it off-putting with that patchouli. It's really quite sweet. There's jamminess in here. It's a little bit tart. It's just an excellent fragrance. Like, I love this one. One of my favorite fragrances that I honestly, I don't know if I've maybe heard 2 reviews on it, and it really should get more attention. In fact, to me, her whole brand should get more attention, is My Greek Lover by Untamed Perfumes. This is a phenomenal fragrance. The blend on this is so beautiful. It's got space. There's a sweetness to it, but it smells like sweet that you smell on the air. The primary, like kind of the nucleus of the fragrance to me, is orange blossom. So the orange blossom is there, but then all surrounding that orange blossom is things like grapes and quince, lemon, orange, fig. So just this beautiful kind of Mediterranean, like I imagine a Mediterranean charcuterie board of all these delicious kind of aromatic fruits with some honey in a jar, just some beautiful honey, like kind of a floral honey just off to the side. And you've got sprigs of cypress on this cedar plank where all of this is, and you're picking it off and you're eating it, and you can smell the lemon trees and you can smell the air of the ocean. That's kind of the feel of this fragrance. Now, what's cool about this fragrance is it also has just a hint of mastic in it. And mastic is this type of resin that you can only get on this one special Greek island. So it's quite a unique fragrance. To me, this fragrance is mass appealing. It's so relaxing. It's very sophisticated, beautifully blended, like so smooth, like it feels silky smooth. So I just think that it's an absolute gorgeous fragrance. I like wearing this one more in the spring and summer for sure, just because it smells that way to me. But you could wear this all year round. The projection on this fragrance is phenomenal. I love this fragrance. It's one of my favorite fragrances, honestly. So My Greek Lover by Untamed Perfumes. And everything's linked down below as usual. Next fragrance that I just think is fantastic but don't hear much about is Ellis Brooklyn's Bee. This is a delicious tobacco fragrance. So if you like tobacco, warm, sweet, tobacco-y honey fragrances, this is just phenomenal. This smells very, very warm, and part of it is because it has bran in there. I think the bran makes it smell so delicious, and one of my favorite cereals as a kid was Cracklin' Bran. We don't have it in Canada, or I haven't seen it in years. I think you can still get Cracklin' Bran in the States, but I loved the taste of Cracklin' Bran, the sweetness, that bran mixed with kind of like a malt flavor in with that bran, to me is so just decadent, delicious. Like I loved eating that cereal. And this kind of reminds me of that. So this actually has no tobacco, but to me it smells tobacco-y. There's rum, honey, bran, sandalwood, cinnamon, cacao, vanilla. So it's quite, there's a bit of powderiness to it. To me, it smells tobacco-y, but that bran definitely is present. I get the cacao. It reminds me of Cracklin' Bran, but it just smells so warm and cozy and delicious, just mouth-watering, very comforting, very cozy. There is a powdery factor to this fragrance. Longevity isn't phenomenal, like you get about 4 hours maybe out of it. But I just love this fragrance. So definitely worth sniffing. It's definitely my favorite out of the Ellis Brooklyn line. Like I just think it's beautiful and it's, to me, really unique. Last fragrance that I feel is underrated. And again, this is one that was talked about a long time ago, but nobody talks about it anymore. And it really is a fantastic fragrance. And that is La Petite Robe Noire Black Perfecto. Now, honestly, La Petite Robe Noire in general is a phenomenal fragrance. So it's very much cherry fragrance. So La Petite Robe Noire, it had its moment. But the flanker Black Perfecto, it also had a moment, but nobody ever talks about it anymore. And I think it's so worth talking about. If you've smelt La Petite Robe Noire, it's a more thin cherry. It's not like that boozy cherry. It's definitely a more bright daytime cherry paired with tea and rose. So definitely get the kind of a black tea feel. It's a cooler smelling fragrance. So some fragrances feel really warm and cozy, like Bee. This one feels a little bit colder. But somehow it's just so beautiful, understated, sophisticated. This one's very, very similar to the original, with the exception that it has a little hint of leather. The powdery aspect of La Petite Robe Noire, it kind of comes down, and instead of a powdery feel, you get a little bit of a leathery feel. The leather to me is not a massive leather. Like some people go, oh, this is like a black leather jacket, like kind of an edgy fragrance. I don't actually consider it edgy at all. I don't even pick up that much leather in this one. What I get is much more tea. So I get almost like a cherry black tea combo. And somehow I just really enjoy it. I find it really calming. It smells really good, but it smells kind of, to me, spa-like. So I know lots of people notice the leather and think it smells like a little bit like a bad girl. To me, it smells like someone that's very calm. So it could be worn by an assassin, which is a bad girl, but it doesn't smell like leather to me. The leather comes across a little bit more spicy somehow than leathery. This also has almond, as does the original. So either one, La Petite Robe Noire, I actually want to get that one too, because it's kind of just a little bit brighter, a little bit more daytime, not quite as deep as this one. But I just think that this is fantastic fragrance. You can wear this all year round. It's kind of a cool, calming fragrance to me. But I just really love the tea aspect in this, along with that cherry. So definitely worth checking out. It's definitely a more, like I talked about, synthetic cherry from the Black Opium Under Red or Always Red or whatever. That one, the cherry is very, very synthetic. The cherry in this one is that more light, almost like a maraschino cherry, or just like a bright, fresh cherry, bordering on synthetic, but somehow it really, really works in both La Petite Robe Noire and the Black Perfecto version. So yeah, what I find is fragrances, once they've been around for a while, nobody talks about them anymore. But I want to bring them up again because I just think that they're fantastic fragrances and shouldn't be left to the wayside when you have a phenomenal smelling fragrance. And this one, to me, almost smells niche as opposed to designer. It's just an excellent, excellent fragrance. So yeah, love it. All of these to me are fantastic fragrances I never hear anybody talk about. What about you? What are your hidden gems that you just think are phenomenal that no one ever talks about, whether they're affordable or whether they're niche? Please leave them in the comment. I would love to hear about them, and so would everybody else. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.